What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Loreena McKennitt, and we're here to finish the 1985 debut album Elemental. Thank you as always to Michaela. And the next and final track is Lullaby, which makes sense. A lullaby, a song which puts someone to sleep, a song which is meant to be calming and to lead one into the world of dreams. So to finish a song, or to finish an album rather, with a song called Lullaby seems especially well suited. And yeah, I don't necessarily know what to expect. I wouldn't be surprised if the song itself takes the form of a lullaby with peaceful and serene sonics and vocals from Loreena. Maybe the song will be about the use of a lullaby, and maybe in that respect it could function on multiple levels. But let's give it a listen and see what I can catch. This is Loreena McKennitt. The song is Lullaby, and it's the final song on her 1985 album Elemental.
Oh, for a voice like thunder, and a tongue to drown the throat of war. When the senses are shaken and the soul is driven to madness, who can stand? When the souls of the oppressed fight in the troubled air that rages, who can stand? When the whirlwind of fury comes from the throne of God and the frowns of his countenance drive the nations together, who can stand? When sin claps his broad wings over the battle and sails rejoicing in a flood of death, when souls are torn to everlasting fire and fiends of hell rejoice upon the slain, oh, who can stand? Who hath caused this? Oh, who can answer at the throne of God? The kings and the nobles of the land have done it. Hear it not, heaven, thy ministers have done it.
even for Loreena, that's an arresting track. So, before we even get to the voiceover narration, fantasy world style spoken vocals, and I do wonder who that was. Obviously, that was a male voice. But yeah, even before that, the first couple minutes, I was thinking, this sounds very medieval, but like specifically medieval fantasy. It sounds like the kind of track that would be playing in a, classic fantasy story at an inn by the fire as a warrior or traveler takes refuge for the night and is, relaxing in front of the hearth and with the storm raging outside and, taking, again, refuge in this brief respite from the journey or quest that he is on. It felt like that kind of tune. And, a lot of Loreena's music so far to me has sounded like early modern, like pre-industrial, and again, a lot of it with a bit of a Celtic flavor, but not just that. There's been some, Near Eastern sounds and so on. But again, a lot of it has a, like, couple centuries ago Celtic feel, but this felt different. This felt, 1,000 years ago, or at least, 600-700 years ago, and seemingly like in a fantasy world, like in a Tolkien type fantasy world, at least, again, as my ears heard it. And there was that like lute or, like plucked string instrument, which maybe that's just a acoustic guitar, but I don't think so. I think that is a more like traditional or historical instrument. And the storm cloud sounds give you the atmosphere and, maybe differently for different people, but, set a visual scene for me, which, as I said, was in a sort of, cobblestone inn in a small, like, fantasy medieval village and, sitting by the fireplace. But in comes then the spoken vocal, which suggests, like, I don't know, like evil is winning, that, the forces of hell have come forth and sin is flapping its wings over the battlefield and, casting it in this light versus dark, the, consequential battle of good versus evil, and, again, casting it in like spiritual terms. So, yeah, I do wonder if that was an excerpt from something or if that was written for this piece specifically. But yes, quite a lullaby, and maybe less mellow and tranquil than I thought, even if, again, the music and Loreena's singing was very serene and elegant and beautiful. But yeah, it created this whole like medieval fantasy scene for me in my head, and then in came those spoken vocals and, added even more to that. So yeah, definitely a really striking tune to end the album with. Enjoying Loreena Journey. Again, I've got another physical CD waiting. Maybe I'll go to that next. But I do believe, we have multiple chapters more in this journey. So very much looking forward to it. Let me know what you think of this one, and I will see you next time. Peace.